Okay. Hello, Cynthia.
Hi, Natalia.
Uh, I would like to say you thank you and also mention that you were the first one from whom we received the application from Eventatron for your show. So
Really?
could you tell us, yes, could you tell us more about it?
So, yes, so my show is called Velvet Determination, and the story of, I'm a classical pianist, so it's the story of my journey from my small town in Pueblo, Colorado, to New York City to try to get into graduate school. But I had all these obstacles in my way, holes in in my musical education. Father conflicts because he was a jazz trombone player and I'm a classical pianist, and teachers and all these things. So I tell my story of obstacles and overcoming them. And at the same time, I play piano throughout the show. So I demonstrate classical piano music, not demonstrate it, but I use classical piano music, and then I underscore what I speak. And yeah, so people find the show inspiring. They find it uplifting. They uh, they like it because they love watching me try to pursue my dream with all of these obstacles in the way. So yeah, so it's at the Edinburgh Fringe Festival and on your festival too, which is awesome at the same time. And I'm just thrilled, and I'm thrilled that I was the first person. I didn't realize.
Yeah, your application was the first one. And why you decided to show your story to people?
Oh, that's a really good question. So I've lived in New York City for a long time now, and uh, about, I don't know, 5 or 6 years ago, I started thinking about all of these things that had happened to me when I came to New York City to try to get into graduate school. And these funny stories kept occurring to me, like my one piano teacher who dismissed me while she was balancing her checkbook, a piano that fell on the ground, neighbors, problems, all these things. And I thought, oh, those would make a really interesting show. And so then I started writing them down. And then I started seeing solo shows, and I thought, oh my gosh, I think this could be a really fun solo show. And so that was sort of the genesis of it. And I thought too, believe it or not, that it might be helpful in a funny kind of way for people who are coming to New York or coming to any large city from a small city, and help them sort of see that there are obstacles that get in your way, but that you can overcome them with joy. And so that's kind of, but I didn't start out that way. I just was thinking about my little stories. So that's how it happened, my writing this
Mhm.
show. So yeah.
Is this show travels a lot already around the world?
Yes. Oh my gosh. First, I did it in New York City at the United Solo Festival in 2018. And then in 2019, I performed it in Colorado, in Galway, in Boulder, in Washington, D.C., and Pittsburgh. And then I did it again in New York in January of 2020. And then, of course, the pandemic hit, so that shut everything down. And then this year, I performed it at in Reykjavik, Iceland, in June, and now I'm in Edinburgh in August. Yeah.
Cool. That's really cool. And maybe you have some future plans for this performance or maybe some others. Could you share?
Sure. So actually, yeah, when I get back to New York, I'm performing this show again in the Rochester Fringe Festival. And then I have these ideas. I mean, one is for the show itself to continue to tour it. I would love to actually do it in schools because I think the themes of the show resonate with students, especially high school students. And the ones that have come to see the show have that it's touched them in that way because they're at that coming of age time where, trying to break free of their parents and make new lives for themselves. So it's a really good show. So anyway, so touring it in schools. I also love to do it in like piano stores for pianists because they can identify with the themes. And then I have a really bigger bigger idea of taking the show and writing a TV series about it, believe it or not. So I've been sort of percolating that idea, sort of like Mozart in the Jungle, or uh, I, I don't know. Anyway, but using these themes to create a bigger scenario. So we'll see what happens with that.
And I guess like you are kind of like independent artist, yes?
Yes.
How difficult it's to create your own solo show?
Oh my gosh. Well, because you become a person who has to do everything. You have to contact the theaters, you have to fill out the applications, you have to get the photos, you have to design the posters, you have to uh, hire your director and any technicians that work for you. Coming to Edinburgh, I had to rent a piano. I had to hire a tech person. And actually, my tech person, I hired her 2 days into the run because I thought that my husband was going to be able to run the lights and everything, but it was just too much. So, at the last minute, you're doing things. Getting the venue and all of that negotiation. I got stars for my show, which was great, but then you have to get the stars printed up and then you have to put them on your posters. And so, I had flyers. And so we were like, I found a printer. So, and then every morning we're cutting up the stars at the kitchen table, cutting them up and then scotch taping them or stapling them onto the flyers, onto the posters. And yeah, so it's a huge, huge job. I keep thinking, oh, I wish I had a producer. Oh, I wish I had somebody. Oh, and flyering. Oh my gosh. We have to go out onto the street every day and flyer, try to sell people on the show, walk around, handing out flyers, talking to people. So yeah. So anyway, I'm like, oh, I wish I had people under me to do all of this, but I don't. So there you go. So it's huge.
Yeah, but I think it's worth it.
Absolutely. Absolutely. I mean, I take so much joy in performing the show and in the audience response to the show, which varies all over the place. But there's just so much joy in that and sharing my story that it's worth it to me. Yeah, I mean, I've been working on the show now for probably 5 years, I would say, which is amazing, right? So,
Yeah, that's that's really cool. And I guess you, with all your work and performance, may show really this unbreakable spirit inside of you. And yesterday we had in Ukraine Independence Day. Maybe you would like to say something to people in Ukraine, maybe some message that you would like to
well,
share.
I would like to say first off that I am so behind you all, and yesterday we talked about Ukraine Independence Day and how wonderful that was and how oh my gosh, that we wish that you had independence and you know just all the horrible things going on, and we just want you all to be free and to be able to live freely. So our hearts go out to you, and we support you 100%. I was thrilled to be, involved with you and your organization, and at the beginning of the pandemic, see the play that you put on I think it was in a bunker or something like that, which was just so inspiring. I can't even tell you. And then amidst all this turmoil going on around you, hosting this festival, I think is just, it shows a lot of determination and a lot of belief. So, I just want everyone to know that we are so behind Ukraine. It's unbelievable. So we want this to be over for you so you can get back to life. So,
Oh, thank you very much for your words. And yeah, uh, thank you for this conversation. And for the people who will watch us, you may see the Velvet Determination show still in our online program until 31st of August. So thank you very much for the conversation.
Oh, you're quite welcome. Thank you so much for asking me to be here. I really appreciate it. And everybody come see all of the shows. They're all wonderful. It's a beautiful festival.